So we're going to really declutter our diet so that it's easier to tidy and it's easier to keep it clean. That's essentially what we'll be working on. And the focus is on carbohydrates and portion control. The reason why we picked carbs and portion control is because the African diet, right? Our African diet is very, very heavy in carbohydrates, and it is very hard for us to manage portions, especially now that we are sitting at home. So I decided that we should do a reset to shred that is focused on managing carbohydrates and managing portions. You guys remember Marie Kondo? Marie Kondo, the declutter lady. The one thing that I got from her book is that you keep only what sparks joy. Keep what sparks joy just makes a lot of sense to me, because before I came across her work, I would think of decluttering like, okay, let me just remove things that I don't want. But she flipped that on its head, and she's talking about you keep only what sparks joy. And think about that for a minute. Not everything that you eat really sparks joy. If we only ate what really made us happy, a lot of us would not have weight issues. We think we like food and then we eat everything that's on our plate all the time. That is really not liking food. Liking food means you have to be selective about what you like. And if you only ate the things that you really liked, that was well prepared, I bet you a lot of people will not have weight issues. So here's what we want you to do. Just go ahead and think about what I asked you, because this is how we're gonna know what sparks joy. If I gave you a cup, this is a teacup. Everybody has a small teacup, right? Or a cup. If I gave you a cup and I said, fill it in with your favorite carbs, and that's all you have to eat in a day, what are you going to put in this cup? If you think about it that way, I bet you're only going to keep what sparks joy. You're only going to put in this cup what you really, really, really want. Okay, so that's the idea. Write down the list of all the carbs that you usually come across, and then think about that filter of, okay, if all I had was this one cup to put my favorite carbs in for a day, what am I going to put into it? Keep what sparks joy. Once you figure out the carbs that really spark joy, then for the next 8 weeks, here's what we're going to do. For 3 weeks, we're going to use a cup. Really, please guys, or please ladies, look for a cup. If you don't have a measure cup, look for a small teacup, that would do. If you can, and I really highly recommend that you do this, whenever you're eating anything that is carbs, you have to measure it, put it in the cup so that you do that portion control well, okay? And you have that 1 cup of carbohydrate allowance in a day. When I'm talking about carbs, I'm talking about things like rice, fufu, gari, cocoyams, cassava, pasta, you know, and so on and so forth. I think at this point you know what carbohydrates are. We're talking about starchy carbohydrates. You are allowed 1 cup total a day, no more than 1 cup. Fruits are not included in the carb allowance, but every other thing has to be budgeted for. So after 3 weeks, we are going to spend 1 week doing intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting will just mean that you restrict your eating to a certain time window. Say you're done eating dinner by 7. If you have breakfast at 7 in the morning, it means that you've been fasting for 12 hours, because from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., including the time that you spend sleeping, is fasting time. You're not eating. Now, that's a 12-hour fast, 12-hour feeding window. Say you stop eating at 7 and you only have breakfast after 9 o'clock the next day, it means that you've been fasting for 14 hours. So if we have a 24-hour day, it means that you have a 10-hour feeding window and 14 hours of fasting, because 10 plus 14 is 24. If you're doing a 16-8 protocol, It means that you're fasting for 16 hours and you're feeding within an 8-hour window. Week 4, we're going to be doing an intermittent fasting, and you're going to pick a level that works for you. If you've never done fasting before, you can start with the 14-hour fast, 10-hour eating window, which just means no eating after 7, and then you have to wait until after 9 o'clock in the morning the next day to eat. If you've done this before, you might want to try a 16-8 fasting protocol, again, which means you're fasting for 16 hours and then you're eating within an 8-hour window. If you're really advanced, you can do an 18-6 protocol, which means you fast for 18 hours and you eat within a 6-hour window. So we're gonna do that for week 4. And then we're gonna repeat the whole carb allowance thing again, where this time you don't get to eat the carbs if you haven't exercised. We're tying exercise to the carbohydrates because carbs are better metabolized when you exercise. So we are going to allow for carbs on the day that you have exercised. This is an incentive for you to work out, and this is also teaching you how to best incorporate carbs in your diet in a way that works for you. Week 5, week 6, week 7 is going to be earned carbohydrates. You still get a cup, but you can have it only on the days that you exercise. And then week 8, we do that intermittent fasting again, and then we're done. So that will be your 8 weeks of the summer body diet. If there's anything that is unclear, please let me know. Ask any questions. I hope I was able to explain this in a way that makes sense, but it's all in my head. If there's something that was not clear, let me know. Ask me any questions. Thank you so much, and bye.